Hello, Gemini rising, and welcome to your astrology and tarot horoscope for this power-packed full moon in Aquarius. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name's Lisa Merrifield, and on this platform, I try and help busy people make good, informed decisions by providing grounded, practical advice to work with the astrological energy. Of course, any reading I do here has to be general. If you're interested in something more specific, I do offer personal readings, and the link to my website is in the show notes. I also will be offering a subscription wherein I will do this kind of reading for you every month, specific to your chart. That will open in November, so keep watching. And as it gets closer, I'll have more information on that opportunity. Before we get started, remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share if you will. I'm a relatively small channel, but trying to get my message out, so I would really appreciate any help you're willing to give me in doing that. And likes, subscribe, shares, and comments are the currency of YouTube. All right, let's talk about this full moon and how it might be showing up for you. All right, so this is a full moon in Aquarius, and we have a full moon in Aquarius every August, so or July or August. Um, so when the sun is in Aquarius, or I'm sorry, when the sun is in Leo and the moon is in Aquarius, that we have a full moon in Aquarius. Um, and for you, as a Gemini rising, this is always on your axis of wisdom. So it's some kind of mental functioning, some kind of like how you communicate, either both privately and publicly. You know um, how you put ideas together. So I would guess that this time of year might be a time when you see things a little bit differently, or like some innovative thought might might be illuminated for you during the full moon, just in any given year, in any way. Um, this year in particular, this full moon is very potent for a couple of reasons. The first of which is that it is squaring Uranus, and Uranus has been super active this year. We had the Jupiter Uranus conjunction in April, we had the Mars Uranus conjunction in July, and we've had Mercury and Venus both square Uranus, and now the full moon will square Uranus. And so all of that um, is stirring up some freedom seeking, liberation seeking, tension relieving kinds of energy in our lives. And and for you, that's happening in a very um, shaded private part of your chart, in a very probably deeply spiritual part of your chart, and in a part where you might be inclined towards escapist tendencies, like it might be uncomfortable. So I'm curious what is being stirred up with that Uranian energy for you. But something about changing ideas and practices, and again that spirituality. It could be health related. Um, something in that kind of that nebulous part of your life that might not be like glaringly obvious to anybody else, but there's something stirring there for you. And and during this full moon, um, something might be illuminated. I'm guessing that there is a theme that has come up for you, and it really depends on what planets you have there, and where your ascendant is exactly. Like there are lots of factors involved in how this is showing up specifically in your life, but in general, I suspect that you have seen something themes through the spring and summer, around 12th house kinds of issues. Um, and and those are potentially ripe for illumination during this full moon, or something in that space might demand attention, or might show up in a potentially unexpected way. As I say, I don't think it will be totally new. I don't think it will be like a topic you totally haven't had any contact with, but but it might be something like you finally have to address the elephant in the room, or you finally have to like look at a piece of something that you haven't looked at, some kind of shadow, or some kind of maybe it's grief or some kind of triggering kind of thing that you're like, "Ugh, I thought I had dealt with that, but I haven't. There's more to this story." And so expect some of that this weekend and into next week. Expect some of those things to show up. And again, how strongly it shows up is going to depend on what else is going on in your life, what other placements you have in that area. Um, but yeah, just keep it in mind. It's a very Uranian time, and really most of this year has been very Uranian, um, very much about change and releasing tension and finding the path of least resistance to break down structures that aren't working. So, um, interesting times, potentially not the most fun, but interesting nonetheless. All right, so that's one piece of what's happening with this new moon. We also have something called a T-square forming um, at the same time as this new moon. It's not directly connected to the new moon, but adds another layer to it. And actually, I think a more important and long-lasting layer to whatever is going to be illuminated through this new moon. Or full moon, sorry, through the full moon. Um, so a T-square is when we have two planets opposite each other and then they are both squaring another planet or set of planets. So for us right now, we have Venus in Virgo opposite Saturn in Pisces, all squaring Mars and Jupiter in Gemini. And of course, Gemini is your rising sign. And so that Jupiter Mars energy that perfected on Wednesday is hitting front and center for you, is hitting in the space of your life that deals with how you show up in the world. Um, in a real literal sense, what clothes you wear, what style your hair is, but on a more metaphysical sense, just what tools do you have to enact your will in the world? Like that's all up for some really really beautiful expansion and revision um, with that Jupiter Mars sitting in your first house. Um, but this T square adds some increased tension to it, and T squares require some resolution. So I think with this full moon, something else will become visible to you. And I'm not going to tease all of the T square apart. The piece I really want to focus on is the fact that Jupiter will square Saturn. And the reason I want to focus on that is because um, Jupiter and Saturn have a 20-year cycle. So they meet every 20 years in a sign. And they last met in December of 2020 in um, in December of 2020 in at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So when I think of Jupiter, Saturn coming together, they're both planets that help us build structures in our lives, that help us like figure out, what the um, yeah, what the groundwork's going to look like so that we can grow and expand into it. And the metaphor I use is that Jupiter and Saturn cycles, these 20-year cycles, are sort of like a balloon. So the latex of the balloon is Saturn. So it's the structure, it's the physical piece. Um, it's also the boundary. So like you need that boundary in order to have a balloon. You you know you just do. You need that physical place to grow things, and so that's the Saturn piece of the structure. The Jupiter piece is the air you blow into the balloon. It's the expansiveness. It's what lets it become whatever shape it's going to become. It's what lets it expand or grow to however big or small you want it to be. So together, you need the Saturn latex and the Jupiterian air to have a balloon. So that's sort of a way to think about when Saturn and Jupiter come together, what we're doing. We've got the external boundary that holds in the Jupiterian growth and expansiveness, and you need both of them. So they came together in December of 2020 at 0 degrees of Aquarius, and and that was transformational because for the 200 years prior to December of 2020, Jupiter and um, Saturn had been coming together in Earth signs. So Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. And in Earth signs, they had been building balloons around physical structures. So we had the Industrial Revolution during that time, and all of our perceptions of, how we think about money and how we think about jobs and how we think about, houses and material possessions and all of that, um, how we think about our foundations, that all came out of that structure building with Jupiter and Saturn in air signs, or I'm sorry, in earth signs. And then in December of 2020, Jupiter and Saturn met for the first time. Um, Not technically for the first time, there was a blip back in the 80s, but for the first time in a sustained way in air signs. So for the next 200 years, Jupiter and Saturn will be building structures around air. Of course, we won't be here to see all of that. But in our 20-year piece of this next cycle, we are building something around ideas, how we communicate. In Aquarius, in particular, it's about how we build the perfect society. And for you as a Gemini rising, um, I'm just looking at where. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So this all happened for you in this mental space where this moon is happening, where this full moon is happening. So it is ripe to change how you express yourself, how it might have been you went back to school. It might have been that you are writing a book. It might have been that you are doing some traveling to, but it's all about expanding your mind. It could be very philosophical. It could be spiritual. It's the idea of new ideas and information coming in. So there's something structural around ideas and beliefs and wisdom and how you learn that is being shaped over the next 20 years. And that's vague, and again, it depends on what planets are there and what your free will is encouraging you to do. But there's something around that space that you were transforming when those two planets came together. Now, uh, Pluto is sitting at 0 degrees of Aquarius right now. So that place where Jupiter and Uranus came together, Pluto is there right now. And so it's really drilling in and asking us to transform and asking us to really figure out authentically, how do we show up? What ideas? What is the philosophy? What is the education we need? What is the information we need to share? How do we need to share that? All of those things are there's um, something going on in your life around that space. So that was January 1st of 2020. So fast forward to August 19th of 2024, we have what is called an opening square. So Jupiter is square to Saturn. And with Jupiter square to Saturn, we are now invited to look back over the last 3.5 years and think about what we've built, what we're bringing in, and how we want to move that forward. What needs to change so that we can continue building? What's working? What's not working? How do we go forward with that? And so for you, that energy has shifted. And so there's something career wise happening. Saturn is in your house of career. So there's something for you in that public space in your chart. And if you're retired or you're a student or, for whatever reason, you don't have a traditional, like earthy career, um, it's your public presence, your public life. Um, so that's where Saturn is sitting right now, and it's squaring Jupiter, which is in your house of identity, your first house, like who you are, how you show up, what kind of skin or mask you wear in order to enact your will in the world. So super powerful placements for this transition, which is working on some of those beliefs and ideas and what is wisdom and what is truth and what are facts and all of that kind of energy. Um so this is a big deal, and that's, as I say, that's why I thought that it was really important to come on and do a little deeper dive into this space. So I encourage you to think about how this is showing up for you and how you're thinking about things. And the cards we're going to pull I'm going to focus specifically on that Jupiter Saturn square and what this period of transformation might show for you, how you might want to step into the energy, step into this place where you're being asked to adaptively manage, like what's working, what's not working, how do we move on. So we're going to pull cards on that today to help you think about how to work with this. We are going to pull from the Mind's Eye Tarot by Olivia Rose because it's a beautiful deck and I like it. And I'm going to pause, shuffle cards, and deal them out. And I'll be right back to tell you what the universe has to say for you. All right, I am back. You got some lovely cards. All right, we're going to pull 5 cards again around this energy of what are you really being asked to adaptively manage during this time period in order to continue to grow and step into whatever this 20-year cycle is bringing in for you. All right. So the first card is what has manifested since the Great Conjunction? And the Great Conjunction is that Saturn-Jupiter conjunction in Aquarius in December of 2020. So think back to what that was. So the universe is saying that you got the Star card. And the Star card is the wish card. So I wonder if there was something you were wishing or hoping for, or you've just really been able to maybe step into some new energy, something that maybe the longing of your heart. Um, and it might be small, but we're just at the beginning of this cycle. Maybe your heart is still longing for that thing, and you're starting to acknowledge it, starting to step into it. So this is really lovely energy, and I hope that um, that's really true for you. That you've been able to wish for something, or you've been able to open yourself to something you've only dreamed of in the past, or only let yourself think of in the abstract to date. So I'm hoping that this means, something beautiful is showing up in your life, and something, some expansive kind of energy um, that you work on over the next 20 years in terms of transforming your beliefs and your sense of wisdom, and what is true for you is coming in. So gorgeous. Um, So what do you need to see right now? What is this square helping you see? This Uranian full moon with a Jupiter Saturn square. What is that helping you see? And you got the 7 of Swords. And so the 7 of Swords is about deception. And so I wonder, um, is there something you are you deceiving other people? Is somebody deceiving you? Is there something you just haven't wanted to see? With Uranus sitting in your 12th house, oftentimes things in the 12th house are things that we don't see. They're hard to see. And I wonder if, I mentioned that that Uranian energy. I didn't think it would be something you hadn't, you weren't, you were totally unaware of. But I wonder if it is going to illuminate some piece of it that you didn't know was still there, or didn't know you still needed to work on, or if it's going to bring out a person who is not the honest actor that you might think they are. So there's something about deception. You need to see something that you haven't either been willing to see or haven't been able to see until this point. So there's some piece of whatever this wish is, whatever you've been hoping to bring in, that you need to take a look at and really shine a light on. And yeah, you either haven't been willing to see it, or you haven't been able to see it, but you need to look at it at this point. That's the important piece. And I don't know if I said out loud, this Jupiter Saturn square, this is the first of 3 transits over the next year where that's going to happen. So this isn't a one and done. This is something you're going to work on for a little while. So if you don't, if this deception doesn't show up for you on the full moon or shortly thereafter, just be open to it. Be open to look, maybe doing some shadow work. Maybe just there's something that you need to look at, some piece of this that you've been hiding from yourself, or somebody has been hiding from you, that's important to bring out into the world. All right. So, what do you need to release in order to move this forward? And you got Justice. Now, that's an interesting card for what you need to release. I wonder if, being that a lot of this is about what is true, what do you believe, what is your philosophical foundation for moving forward, um, and then being that the square in particular is around your public persona, and the tools you use to show up and show up in the world. I wonder, is there something that you don't think is fair, or is there something like, have you been taking advantage of a situation? Like with these two cards together, have you been taking advantage of a situation? Has somebody been taking advantage of you? Do you need to release? Is there some sense of, well, it should be this way, and because you feel like it should be this way, you're not stepping into or seeing the reality of a situation. So you need to release something about a sense of fairness, or maybe somebody did something to you at some point, or maybe you feel like you deserve something, or you're wronged in something. um, but I think the universe is asking you um, to think about moving on from that, and if you're holding on to needing a sense of justice, or needing a sense of fairness or equity, or um, yeah, maybe there's a piece of the puzzle you're not looking at, or maybe um, yeah, maybe there's just something to let go of in that space. Justice also reminds me of that Aquarian energy, where where Aquarius is in our chart, we tend to be very, very idealistic, but we're not always very realistic. So we are very much like, this is the true path. This is the way it should be. This is the ideal. And sometimes we get caught in that because the situation's not the ideal. And so I wonder if that's a piece of this. If there's something like, it should be this way. Whatever the star card is, I should be able to do it this way. This is the right way. And I wonder if there's not something about that that needs to be released, that maybe you need to either rethink that or reimagine that, or even just step away from it. This is the way it should be, and this is not the way it is. And so I need to approach this a different way. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense in what's going on in your life right now. All right. Our next card is, what opportunities are getting ready to emerge? And you've got the Ace of Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles is a manifestation card. Aces are the most pure form of energy, and Pentacles are about that earthy groundedness. So this could be a new job, this could be a new business, this could be a new house, this could be a new, yeah, any of those kinds of things. This could be new money. It could be a new structure or foundation. Yeah, it could be um, whatever you're trying to build. If you can release some of this, whatever that justice energy is, however you're feeling like it should be this way, or if you can see the deception in yourself or in others that you need to see, you can really step into some amazing power. There's something coming. And now that I'm thinking about it, with Saturn in your house of career, like maybe it is a job or a business or a volunteer opportunity, or new education, or something, some stepping in, like it's ripe. But there's potential for you to move into that space. And then, what is the guidance from the universe? The guidance from the universe is the King of Cups. And kings are the leaders, the external leaders. Queens are more internal, living in the energy, and kings are more external, leading in that energy. And so the King of Cups is somebody who leads with their heart. The King of Cups is like an emotionally intelligent leader, somebody who shows up and is able to connect their head and their heart to make really good decisions. And so the universe is like giving you that permission. The universe may also be sending you somebody. Sometimes the court cards are an actual person. So the universe may be sending you a guide to help you make this transition, to help you let go of whatever you're holding on to or not seeing that you need to let go of, in order to move into this next step, this next piece of the journey. So I think that's a kind of an awesome card to end with. Something heart-centered. So, regardless of this, I would really encourage you to listen to the longings of your heart, to really sit in like what your gut is telling you, like really, really let this energy be in your body, and really lead more from that space than from your head. And as a Gemini rising, you're probably really good at getting in your head. And I'm encouraging you to get in your body and really see if there's some space or energy around that you can tap into. Like, what am I really feeling about this situation? not over analyzing it, not over intellectualizing it. What am I really feeling about this situation and the direction to go? So I hope that is helpful, Gemini rising. And again, please like, subscribe, comment, share. Thank you for making it to the end. That helps the YouTube algorithms very, very much. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks. Bye.